young minds for discourse and for communicating and for figuring out the world on their own. They're eventually going to be independent and dependent entirely on their own actions and decisions and go out there in the world, figure out your way. Arm them correctly, and the way to do that is to expose them to all sorts of different competing ideas. The idea that was ever accepted to be shut down in this country, especially in America, is a massive failure of the education system. Just massive. If you think that someone has bad points, come up with better points and let them duke it out. And don't pull fire alarms, and don't silence them, and don't scream and protest and throw things at them. Communicate. This is and anybody who doesn't do that should be shunned.
I agree.
If you're one of those people that says, no, you can't talk to Nazis, like, shun them. They are the enemy of thinking. They are the enemy of progress. They are the enemy of finding out what's right and what's wrong. And the only way we find that out is we communicate.
Free speech.
Free speech.
Well, free speech and a degree of Darwinism. You have to have what we have in the UK now is, I always say, reverse Darwinian theory. And again, at schools now, in my day, I was lucky, we like to win. To win was good. To win fairly in a proper game of hockey or rugby or whatever was great. But now in schools, winning is considered to be bad. So everybody needs to have an opportunity to be treated the same.
In sports?
Often in sport, to win, to be seen as a competitive winner.
You guys don't have wrestling over there either.
We don't have wrestling. I know you do.
It's a real problem.
Cage fighting and stuff, don't you?
I know, but I mean wrestling, just wrestling as a sport, just wrestling for high school and college. It's like wrestlers understand meritocracy as good as any human being alive, because there's no way to make it unless you work hard.
But isn't this the battle, Joe, the age-old battle between individualism and collectivism?
Yes.
Because the collective likes to curb the individual. I like to foster the individual, and I think what the state fears most is highly successful, independent-minded people who are capable of putting their point of view and discussing it with each other. So what they try and do through the taxation in the UK, what they're doing is they're taxing, to your point, people who contribute, who work hard. And there are still a lot of people who fight very hard to feed their families. They're proud. They don't want to be part of this welfarism. They want to provide, and they work hard, but the state puts everything in their way, all the regulations, the rules, the taxes. Everything is the force is not with them, and that's got to be wrong. I mean, I think what you need is a lot of successful individual family businesses, communities which are self-sufficient, communities that respect each other and effectively can have this debate with each other. You get at the truth, and I think as a result of that, most of the best inventions have come from the UK, the US, from the Anglo-Saxon world, where individualism, when it's allowed to flourish, does a lot of good for mankind.
Right.
And to your point, I think this is what's been undermined by these, what I call central planners.
And a lot of these great inventions in America have come from people that immigrated legally from other countries because they appreciated what America stood for, and they really wanted to make something happen. And they couldn't do it wherever they were.
Well, the extraordinary thing in the UK is we've got a lot of support from people who are immigrants into the UK. They came to Britain because they respected our structures. And what they want is they want structure. They don't want to see the country.
Yes, legal immigrants in America have the same perspective.
It's the same.
Legal immigrants in America are pretty overwhelmingly against the whole open border idea because it was so hard for them to become an American citizen. It's a very proud moment for them to do it. Like
a lot of young people. Got a lot of support from young people who are, again,
young people are online. See, this is the thing. Like, so young people are much more I want to say informed, but at least aware of the issue. They're much more aware of things than older people that are just, again, reading the newspaper and watching television.
But don't you think, as it may be the same here in Britain, a lot of the wealth is tied up in what I call the baby boomers. So I'm a sort of tail-end boomer because I'm 68, but the sort of bulk of them are probably 70 to 90. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the pension wealth is held there. And a lot of the damage that's been done to our financial markets has come from aversion to risk. Risk is a good thing, in my opinion. So people need to take risk. Risk, the entrepreneur takes risk and he gets reward if he gets it right. But if you tax him into oblivion, he doesn't take the risk. And what's happened in Britain is the baby boomers, the wealth's all locked up there. They want to see their retirement through safely. And not enough money is cascading down to the young people to be able to build their lives in the same way that the boomers were given a chance to make money in this very...
when you say not enough money is cascading down, like how so? What's the bottleneck?
The money is all locked up with these old baby boomers, and they're more concerned with their pensions and their retirement than they are with generating an ongoing wealth chain, which gives an opportunity for the young to be involved.
So you meaning they're not starting businesses?
No, very much not.
They're just holding on to their money.
they're holding on to their money.
So that's
locked up.
that's an England thing.
In England, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a big issue. I don't know whether it's an issue here. Is it an issue here?
Well, there's certainly an issue here with young people feeling like the system is completely rigged. Cost of housing is through the roof. Rent is through the roof. Groceries are more expensive. Inflation here is a giant problem. It's a giant problem for people that are struggling. We were just looking at something the other day on the internet where it was talking about a number, a number from, what was it, like 2007 or 2008 or something like that? That was like $225,000, and it's $450,000 in today. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like 20 years ago. Like to have something double in 20 years. And you just think about how many people that are coming up that just feel like AI is going to take all their jobs, so they don't know what to do. And now they're in student debt because you guys have free education over there, which is a wonderful thing. I mean, I completely support that idea. But in America, these kids get saddled down with debt that they can't escape
Well,
from.
we don't.
Ever.
In England, we don't have free education.
Well,
So in England, in Scotland, they do, because Scotland has free education. We did used to have it. You're quite right. But
When did it go away?
well, now students have to take out loans, and this is another shocking.
I thought you guys had free healthcare and free education.
We have. Well, if you call it free healthcare, assuming you can get a doctor now, because you know most people now are having to source their own medical treatment because it takes you so long to get an operation or to get a doctor's appointment. It's although the sort of health service was set up post-war to provide free healthcare, when it becomes incredibly inefficient, people have to seek their own care, otherwise they don't get treated. But I think with student debt now,
When
children,
did it change where university education
it's changed. So now.
What year was this?
Well, it's been changed for a long time.
Oh,
So,
really?
So yeah. So my oldest son is 35. So he took out a student loan. It was less then, and then the fees shot up. So
What's like for Oxford? What's a typical? How much? Does it
well,
cost
they
a year?
run up. Students will run up debt of in the UK now. It's not uncommon to run up a debt of £60,000.
So it's very similar to what's going on in America.
£60,000, and they're charged the most hideous rate of interest on it.
And do you
which
guys
all
have
needs
the
to be
same
changed.
laws in terms of bankruptcy over there?
We do have bankruptcy laws. Yeah.
But do you have bankruptcy?
Student debt, you won't be bankrupted over student debt, though, because the student debt, they just accrue the interest. If you go and work in a foreign country, often you don't have to pay the student debt back. I think it's a 30-year liability. But once you start working, then the student debt organization will take interest and principal out of your salary.
In America, if you go bankrupt, they'll forgive credit card debt, all sorts of other debt, but not student loan. It's the one loan that you cannot ever be forgiven from. In fact, people who have Social Security in America, their Social Security gets docked because they owe student loans.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
It's crazy. Imagine you're at the end of your life, you're living on Social Security, and they're taking pieces of it for an education that clearly didn't help you out.
Well, I don't know about you, but in England, we've got these ridiculous courses in sort of humanities and sort of things that are completely abstruse.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And these kids go and do these what I call bullshit degrees, and at the end of the day, they come out of it with a load of debt,
Right.
and no real skills.
No skills and a completely ideologically captured mind.
Very much so.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of other alternatives. It's like most universities are left leaning.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the issue that these kids have. Even if you're from a conservative family, or if your kids grow up a certain way, send them off to college, and they're very impressionable, and they're going to get talked down to by a professor who's a communist, who's never had a real job in his life, and he seems so smart, and he's very smug, and he insults you if you disagree with him, and he is the ruler of the classroom, and everybody like little kids, they just give in to this guy's ideas. The next thing you know, you're organizing on school grounds, and you're doing all the same things that the other communists are doing, and you're part of the team. Hey, we're going to fix the world. And you don't realize how ridiculous it is until like maybe you're 35 and you have a job and then you have a family and you're like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what is this?
It does change, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%.
But Oxford's the worst.
It's the old
I mean,
expression,
Oxford
show me a
and
young
Cambridge.
man. Who's that? Who quoted that? Who was that quote from? Show me a young man who's not was it liberal or is it progressive or whatever it is? Show me a young man who's not a liberal, and I'll show you a man without a heart. Show me an old man who's not conservative, and I'll show you a man without a brain.
Yeah. No, well, I don't know who said that, but it's a common
Who
it's
said
a
that?
common
Jimmy?
saying.
Let's find out who said that.
It's a truism.
Churchill?
Was
Yeah.
it Churchill?
There you go. One of your
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant and accurate. And being conservative doesn't mean you're not kind. It's silly. It's just recognition of human nature, and you can't reward people for not putting in effort, because then they will find ways to not put in effort. You can't reward people for being a quote unquote victim, and I don't mean a real victim of a crime. I mean victimized by society, victimized by circumstance, You can't weaponize that because people will cling to it. People love excuses. Anybody who does sports, you played hockey, people love excuses. Not today, my back hurts. Today I don't feel up to it. Today I'm a little tired. I can't do the final lap. People love excuses. And when you weaponize that and you give people incentives to be you give excuses and then you put people on their heels like, whoa, I don't want to appear that I'm insensitive. Let's help you out. And then all of a sudden you've got a whole swath of society that has carte blanche over your tax dollars for nonsense.
Well, this is obviously what's happened in the UK. When I was brought up, again, competition was a good thing. You know, if you felt a bit rough, you just carried on. You didn't whinge, you didn't moan. You expected to fight for things. If you had a setback, you didn't immediately go and cry into your beer. You basically got on with it.
Well, we need to teach people it's character building. Like, you're gonna have rough days, and you should cherish those rough days because from them you will grow. You will grow from your rough days. The down times are the good ones because those down times really give you the motivation and the real firepower to get out of whatever situation you're in and improve your life. And
well, from adversity comes success.
Yes,
I think
comes character for sure.
Character and success. Yeah,
character for sure. I mean, it doesn't exist without some sort of adversity.
But I think the young were also badly affected by the response to COVID, Joe. And I think you and I share something in common. I'm a pureblood. I didn't have
pureblood's hilarious.
I didn't have those injections. I wouldn't go anywhere near them.
How did you get away with that in the UK?
Well, I used to go to Australia a lot. So because I have some businesses in Perth in Western Australia. I love those old rocks in Western Australia. The mining, the sort of Wild West and Kalgoorlie and places like that. Which have got a huge historical connection to sort of gold prospecting and stuff. So I stopped traveling because it was very difficult to travel. But I don't know about you, I found the lockdown profoundly concerning. I thought things that I thought were the norm, I was losing everything that made sense.
Yeah.
And, there were things happening that I didn't think could ever happen in Britain. The state literally took over and it frightened people into submission.
Same as America.
And the young people suffered most because they didn't have the opportunity to socialize and to your point, discuss ideas and get at the truth. They were literally locked up. Everything was online. It wasn't right. The whole thing was completely wrong.
Imagine if you're in high school in America and you're in California, your entire senior year, you're at home. You graduate. You can't even go to a graduation because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
The whole thing was madness.
Well, Sweden got it right. Anders Tegnell in Sweden, he was a great man, very brave man, and he got that right.
And boy, there was a lot of pushback. It was amazing how many people were willing to do the work of the government, how many citizens were willing to enforce these ideas. It was really shocking. It was shocking to watch how many people became lemmings, how many people just stepped in line.
We had people ratting on each other.
Yeah. Oh, we did it. Because they were rewarding people in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
They were giving them financial rewards for telling on their neighbors that we're having parties.
That's what happened in England. I have a tennis court in the middle of nowhere, so I used to say, come up and play tennis, because it's ridiculous to stop you playing tennis outside. I mean, absolutely mad. Anyway, they used to come up and play tennis, and nobody can see it. But if they played it in the village, then people would report each other.
Yeah. In California, we had people report on us because this desk is not 6 feet wide.
Seriously?
Yeah. And then they also said we were talking close to each other without masks because there was a bunch of people that saw people walk into the studio and we shook their hand, so they were ratting on us. And so we had to put a sign up in the front door of the studio, and we had to have a bag of masks, a whole bag of masks. Do we have to have hand sanitizer too? Did we have that too? I think so. I think we had to have hand sanitizer for a while at least. But we were getting ratted on because this desk is too close. So it's not, this desk is only 5 feet wide, so it's no social distancing.
It's pathetic, Joe, isn't it?
It was nonsense. It was so crazy. The whole thing made no sense. And it completely changed a lot of people's ideas about trusting experts and trusting authority. So many people thought that the health experts in this country were literally just trying to make people healthy. And you didn't realize, like, oh, no. They're trying to prop up the pharmaceutical drug cartel, and they're trying to make as much money as humanly possible. And the only way to do that is to force compliance. And so they will do whatever they can. They will keep you from flying. They'll keep you from driving. They'll keep you from going to school. You can't work. If you have more than 100 employees, everyone has to get vaccinated. They were doing crazy shit where you're like, you guys are really going for it. And it worked. It worked for quite a while, but boy, did it ruin young people's perspective of authority.
Completely.
They don't trust anybody anymore, and with good reason.
Well, I think it damaged them most. Again, it's another negative for them.
Yeah.
I mean, our National Health Service was forcing people to have the injection. You had to work in the National Health Service. You had to have the jabs.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
It didn't work.
That's what's
It
even crazy.
Actually, worse than that, Joe. It didn't work. It created major medical problems.
Right.
And I don't personally think we've seen the end of it yet. So I've got a lot of friends who are fit. They ended up having myocarditis,
Yeah.
having strokes,
Yeah.
having heart attacks. And at the end of the day,
Everybody knows somebody that has a horrible
every-
reaction to it.
everybody does.
Yeah, everyone. And to people that say they don't, I've had conversations with people, I don't know anybody who had a side effect. I'm like, fuck you for lying. There's no way that's possible. Unless you are the luckiest person in the world and you have an extremely small social circle, and out of that social circle, no one had a bad reaction, which is very unlikely. Unless that's true, like you're just lying. And
But
you're
I think
lying because
countries-
you probably were supportive of the vaccine initially and you don't want to seem like you were on the wrong side of things.
Well, I lost friends. I don't know about you, because people said I hadn't been vaccinated and therefore I was a risk to their
Yeah.
mum or their dad or their granny.
Yeah, I lost a bunch of people.
And I lost friends like that. But I mean, in countries like India, you know, they didn't have the jab. They used ivermectin to a far greater extent, and that was just as effective.
I know.
I think I used to treat it's a wormer.
Yeah.
Ivermectin. I used to treat my cattle with ivermectin. But it worked. It worked well, and there were other I think treatments which worked far.
Do you
better
know what
than-
happened to me in America over ivermectin? Are you aware of that?
No.
CNN, like for days, was running this hit piece on me saying that I was taking horse dewormer for COVID.
Oh, it is a worm.
Yeah, it is. But it's also, it's great for river blindness and
Yep.
dengue fever. And,
Yep.
I mean, it won the Nobel Prize for use in human beings. And they were claiming on CNN that I was taking veterinary medicine. And they not only that, but they changed the color of my face. So they took a video. I was supposed to do a concert with Dave Chappelle that weekend in Nashville. And I had to make a video saying, I'm sorry, but we have to cancel it because I got COVID. So I said I had COVID like 2 days ago. I was sick, but I'm fine now. And I explained all the stuff that my doctor threw the kitchen sink at it. We took all these different things. And one of the things that I mentioned was ivermectin. And because of me mentioning that, I also said monoclonal antibodies, Z-Pak. I talked about all the IV vitamins. I took a bunch of different stuff, and I got better quick. And they took the video and changed the color of my face to make me look green on CNN.
No.
On CNN.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
CNN's not a good channel, is it?
I didn't know. I didn't know until I saw that. I was like, wow. Like, this is I was like, do I have to sue CNN? Like, this is crazy.
So is that Bill Hartzia when you're talking about with the eyes, the worm in the eyes? Is that the Bill Hartzia you get from the water in Africa?
But river blindness, I do not know what
I think it's called Bill Hartzia. I think I may be wrong.
You might be right. But I know it's used to treat yellow fever,
Yeah.
dengue fever. It's used to treat a bunch of different things. But it also has antiviral properties that have been demonstrated. Like there's papers on it.
And it's very cheap.
Yes. But that's the problem. The problem is anybody can make it. And you could buy it for it's like $1 a pill or something
Yeah.
like that. It's nothing.
Yeah.
And that was the real problem, is that if you want to have the emergency use authorization of a vaccine that hasn't gone through the safety protocols in America, you have to have no other medications that are available that can treat it. So the reason why they went after me on CNN was because clearly I was doing okay. It was 3 days later, and I said I never got vaccinated. So here's all the stuff that I took, and now I'm fine. And they went crazy, and it was this concerted campaign to try to destroy me. Neil Young took his music off Spotify because he said that
he was unsound on
because
it.
he said that I was promoting vaccine misinformation, and he probably believed that. He probably did believe that, but he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He's another old boomer that just watches the news.
Yes, I did used to like his music when I was at
loved his
school, though,
music.
didn't you?
I still love it. I
Yeah.
still listen. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I even told a story when I made the video about how when I was at a Neil Young concert. Well, I was working at a Neil Young concert actually when I was 19, and that was the last day on the job because a riot broke out. And I was like, I'm a huge Neil Young fan. Like, I don't care. He just doesn't know. Someone told him this, or he really thinks he's doing the right thing by removing his music. Like, okay. But what you're doing is you're supporting this machine that is lying to people and telling people the only way to get through this is to get vaccinated. When in fact, there's like Uttar Pradesh in India where it was just very low instances of COVID fatality. All of it was through ivermectin.
Yeah,
They had amazing success with just ivermectin.
But
you know?
again, I think the state knows that it's caused damage. I just don't think they can admit it at the moment.
No, they're not
'Cause they
going
were-
to admit. They're never going to admit it. They just gloss over it and move on. And some of the same people that were promoting that shit on the news, they still deny it. They still deny it. And they've lost debates. Like Chris Cuomo got destroyed by my buddy Dave Smith because of it. Like they're in denial of the things that they were actually saying.
Yeah. It was like fluoride in water and folic acid in bread and all this sort of
All
stuff.
that shit. It's all terrible.
It's sort of man getting high on his own supply, isn't it, really?
Well, it's also a business. That's the real problem, is that there's lobbies in this country that, they want to continue making money the same way they've been making money.
Yeah.
And one of the ways they do it in America is they advertise on the networks. So the pharmaceutical drug companies all advertise on all these networks, and they're an enormous part of the advertising budget. I know in England, that's not legal. And it's only legal in America and in New Zealand. Those are the only two countries that allow pharmaceutical drug companies to advertise on television. But what it effectively does is it stops all criticism of any side effects. There's no stories on heart attacks. There's no stories on strokes. No stories on myocarditis. Now, if they weren't advertising and then someone was making money off of something that was killing people, that's the news.
Yep.
The news would be all over it. But they have effectively ruined their own reputation by turning a blind eye on something that everybody knows.
But do you think they're turning a blind eye? I think they know. I think they know, but they can't admit it.
The individuals most certainly must know someone who got something from COVID, from the COVID shot. Someone who had a stroke. Someone who's got a neurological condition. I know way too many people for you to not know anybody. I have two people that I know that have pacemakers now. There's a lot of weird, horrible side effects that happen from that. If you don't know anybody that had one, I don't believe you.
Well, I know loads. I mean, my sister-in-law had myocarditis. I've had a friend. My best friend had a stroke literally a week after having the jab. People have had problems with heart arrhythmia, all sorts of stuff, and there's been some issues with blood too. Yeah. So look, I think as usual, money probably goes to the root of it, Joe.
Absolutely.
And we had something in the Britain called the nudge team, which basically was, how the government thought that was okay. It's a bit like when I was in football, people were hacking my phone and thought that was okay. But with the nudge team, it was to nudge people into accepting the lockdown, and it was effectively very clever manipulation of the population. So look, you can't believe that the state thinks that's okay, but they did.
They did. Yeah, they did, and they did it in America depending on which city you were in, to varying extents. California was bad. It was real bad. They closed down all the comedy clubs. They lost 70% of all the restaurants in Los Angeles. It's crazy.
Yeah, a great place to live, California, though.
What's that?
It's a great place to live, California.
Beautiful. That's why people still tolerate it. If California had the weather of Seattle, it'd be empty.
It would, yes.
You know what I mean? It's like the reason why people are still there is because, God, it's so amazing. And there's so many cool people there, and it's so nice, and the weather's incredible, and the views, and you could be at the ocean, and then 2 hours later you're in the mountains. It's an amazing place.
It's an amazing place. I went
filled
there.
with dumbasses.
Yeah, it was socialist, Joe. Unfortunately, it's been permeated to socialism.
That and grifters pretending to be socialists. They're essentially those people with the wolf, with the sheep wrapped around them. That's a large
society. Yeah,
that's a large portion of the government in Los Angeles and a large portion of the government in California in general. And the way you know this is how wealthy those fucking people are, and how it doesn't make sense how they're so wealthy. You're making how much a year, and you're worth how much?
Crime.
Yeah, crime. They're doing crime. Well, one of the things that happened very recently is they just announced that the governor of California, one of the people on his staff had been wearing a wire for over a year. Did you see that story, Jamie? What's that?
I don't know what they got.
Well, no, I don't know what they got either, but this lady had been, see if you can find it, what it says. But she had been wearing a wire. She's working for the Gavin Newsom organization.
Yeah.
And she was working for the administration, and she was wearing a wire for the FBI because they had been investigating him and this was during the Biden administration they started this. So they started this in 2024. If they're investigating him, it's supposed to be like they must know that some real shit is going down. FBI infiltrated Gavin Newsom's inner circle by convincing governor's ally to wear a wire. Yeah. Not good.
Not good. But I think it's the same in Chicago. You've got some pretty bad spots. San Francisco, I think, is not good.
It's a lot of people that are profiting off of this idea that, the government should be taking care of everybody and you should be making all this money from taxes. And then, California spent $24 billion on the homeless, and it just got worse. Now it's an industry. So now you have this homeless, taking care of the homeless is now an industry. And there's people on the homeless industry board that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And it's like, what are we doing?
It's the same with compliance. It's the same with, as you say, DEI.
Yeah.
There's a whole industry in the UK of people making vast amounts of money on, compliance, DEI.
Yeah.
Basically wealth creation,
yes.
which ultimately strips personal responsibility and tries to imbue everybody with a very sort of malign philosophy, which is very damaging to the
under the guise of being inclusive.
Correct.
And also, you're getting wealthy. How many people from these nonprofits are getting enormously wealthy? Like, this is insane. And that was one of the things that USAID clearly uncovered. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Mike Benz and some of his takes on it. Like,
Yep. It was shocking. I couldn't believe it.
There's so many hours of it. It's almost like there's too much information to digest. I could listen to like an hour of it. It's like, I got to stop because I just don't know when this ends. I'm not even absorbing this. I'm just so flabbergasted by the extent of the corruption and the amount of money that's been gone to fraud and possibly waste over the years. Is just staggering.
But it also went all over the world, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It was a philosophy, a poor philosophy that was being exported to other countries, and particularly to Britain. I mean, we have a presenter called Rory Stewart. His wife was being funded by some of this stuff, which got shut down. Did they shut the whole thing down? Or
They shut USAID
Did they leave
down.
a remnant of it?
I don't know exactly how much they've left, but essentially it's been shut down. Of course, if there was ever a Democrat that got elected president in 2028, it would probably start that bitch right back up, open the borders right back up, business as usual.
That would not be good, Jay.
No, it seems like there was a desire to move people into blue states and then eventually get them on social assistance and then get them to become citizens, and then you have guaranteed voters because you want to continue this, right? You want to continue living like this? Well, this is the way. And then you would just completely take over the presidential elections. And I think they were trying to do that. This is Elon's perspective, and I think he's right. And he's obviously much more aware of the problem in terms of like the extent that USAID was involved and these nonprofits and NGOs were involved. It seems like there was a concerted effort to do this, and it's disturbing.
But again, a lack of respect for taxpayer funds, which
Complete
is
disrespect.
what we have in the UK. I mean, we need your help. At the moment, at least you're making a stab at returning to some form of normality.
For now, but if we don't fuck it, I mean, we might have fucked it up by going to Iran. I mean, this war is not something anybody that's conservative wanted. Most people don't want it, except supporters of Israel. They're the only people that seem to be thinking it's a good idea in this country. Most people are horrified by the idea because Trump was elected. One of the pillars that he stood for, apparently, was that he doesn't want any more wars.
Well, I came out against it on the basis for us of realpolitik, which is it wasn't in the interest of the British nation.
Right.
And I think, again, most of these leaders should put the interests of their tax-paying public first. And there's only a reason to go to war if it's going to benefit you.
Yeah.
And it was difficult to see what the benefit was. Although I think Iran is a sort of malevolent state, and it is spreading very bad philosophy across, obviously, you've got Hezbollah in Lebanon, and then we've got Hamas causing a problem. So I think they are a problem, but certainly from our point of view, I mean, you're the only country with the ability to do anything about it. I mean, we had one warship which didn't work properly when it was sent out to help. So I mean, goodness knows we spend all our money on welfare and not enough money on defence. So no, we need help, and I think to your point, Elon Musk has been, to my mind, incredibly helpful in restoring free speech, because Starmer and these Fabian Pabloist Haldanean society, as I call them, they've all got this malign philosophy, and I think what giving us free speech has done is it's stopped them crushing the spirit of those people who do want to debate, who do want to discuss, who do want to get at the truth.
Right, but they've done so much to stop free speech with all these arrests.
It's extraordinary.
Because they've incentivized people to keep their mouth shut because no one wants to be in trouble.
Well, it's two-tier policing. You've got, to your point about, that the Palestinian marches are tolerated, whereas any form of Tommy Robinson march, and Tommy Robinson in the UK, he's deeply disliked by the establishment. I give him credit for what he did. Again, on the grooming gangs in 2003, he was warning about this in 2003 in Luton.
Not only that, I remember people dismissing that in 2003 or 4, whenever it was when I first heard about it, they were talking about him as he was just horrible, far-right extremist.
I know.
And that he was making up these stories about these grooming gangs and rape gangs. I remember hearing that. I remember not knowing, like, what is it? What's accurate here? Like, what's going on?
Well, I think the accuracy is that he was right. The establishment didn't want to admit it because if we're right, I think we are right about their multicultural post-war experiment. They realized it was failing, because you can't justify the sort of abuse and grooming of the most vulnerable people in your society by people who've come into the country They should be treated equally under the law. Rape is a rape. It doesn't matter whether it's perpetrated by somebody from a Muslim country or a Christian country. Rape is rape, and
So
it should
what
be treated the same.
What would you do to stop this? Like, imagine if you got into power right now. What would you do to put a stop to that?
But we have to root it out, and we have to stop it.
How do you root it out?
We have to apply the law, the law of our land, to the
Right.
people who are